Ain't no party like a Diddy party. It was the most anticipated event of the year, P. Diddy's exclusive invite-only Halloween bash. Celebrities, influencers, and music elites all clamored for a golden invitation. The rumors about Diddy's parties were legendary, wild, lavish, and unpredictable. But this year, there was an eerie buzz about the event, something people couldn't quite put their finger on. Jake, a small-time DJ, had scored an invite through a lucky break. His friend Nico worked security at the venue, and somehow Jake found himself standing in line to enter Diddy's mansion, his heart racing. The mansion was draped in gothic decorations, skulls, cobwebs, and dark, moody lighting. It looked like something from a dream and a nightmare. As Jake entered the massive ballroom, he noticed something strange. Everyone seemed tense, and the music felt oppressive. It wasn't the kind of energy he expected at a Diddy party. It was thick, almost like the air was suffocating them. People were drinking and chatting, but there was an uncomfortable vibe. Jake spotted him, P. Diddy himself, standing near the bar. He was dressed as some sort of vampire, all in black, his trademark sunglasses covering his eyes, even in the dim light. His smile was wide, unnaturally so, and as Jake approached, the crowd around him seemed to part, as if they were subtly edging away. Jake, feeling a mix of awe and nerves, gave a friendly nod. "Hey man, this party is insane. Thanks for having us." Diddy didn't move. His smile remained frozen, his head cocked slightly to one side. Then, in a low, monotonous voice, he said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Jake chuckled nervously. "Yeah, that's the truth." But Diddy didn't respond. He just stood there, his smile plastered on his face, his eyes hidden behind those dark glasses. And then he said it again, slightly louder this time. "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Something about his tone sent a shiver down Jake's spine. He glanced at the people nearby. They looked uneasy too, some whispering to each other, while others nervously avoided Diddy's gaze. Jake stepped back, ready to move on, but Diddy took a slow, deliberate step toward him. "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Now his voice had an edge to it, a hollow, unsettling echo. It was as if the words were on a loop, not coming from him, but through him. Jake's stomach churned as Diddy took another step closer, the wide grin never faltering. Suddenly, a woman screamed from the corner of the room. All eyes turned, and Jake saw it. One of the guests had collapsed, clutching their throat, gasping for air. People rushed to help, but the woman's face was pale, her eyes wide with terror. Her skin began to glisten like it was wet. And then she stopped moving. Panic rippled through the crowd. Some tried to leave, but the doors wouldn't budge. The lights flickered, and the music, once a slow, hypnotic beat, warped into a nightmarish distortion. Guests screamed, pounding on the walls, but there was no way out. Jake's pulse raced as he turned back to Diddy, but now there were more of them, dozens of them, identical to him. Copies of Diddy, all with that same sickening smile, all dressed in black, slowly advancing on the panicked guests. "Ain't no party like a Diddy party," they chanted in unison, their voices merging into a deafening roar. Jake backed up, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He watched in horror as one by one, people started to drop. It was like the life was being sucked out of them. Those who tried to fight found themselves face to face with one of the Diddy clones, who would just lean in and whisper, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party," before their bodies crumpled to the ground. Jake's head swam as he stumbled toward a side room, hoping to find an escape. Inside, the room was dimly lit, and in the center, seated in a high-backed chair, was the real P. Diddy, or what was left of him. His body was shriveled, his skin stretched taut over bone, and his eyes, wide and glassy, stared blankly ahead. Wires and tubes snaked from his body into the walls, pulsing with a strange glowing liquid. His mouth opened and closed in a jerky motion, and with every movement, that same hollow phrase came out of his mouth over and over again. "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Jake's blood turned to ice. This wasn't just a party, this was a nightmare machine, a twisted factory where P. Diddy had become a vessel for something dark, something that fed off the energy of the people, trapping them in an endless loop of terror. Before Jake could react, he felt cold hands on his shoulders. He turned around to see the clones, their smiles widening, their faces unnaturally stretched. And then, in unison, they whispered into his ear, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." The lights went out, the music stopped, and the party went on forever.